Hi everyone, this is Professor Eric Lovell. I am your professor for Introduction to Sociology. In this course, we're going to be looking over what sociology is, how we can use it in our daily lives, and how it kind of helps clarify some of the things that are going on in the world around us. This video will go over the structure of the course, how to read the syllabus, and then the next video that you'll watch is going to show you how to go through Blackboard, how to navigate it, since this is an online asynchronous course. That means that all of the information is already up, ready for you to go through. I will be reaching out to all of you soon to set up optional weekly check-ins where I will do a mini lecture to cover the concepts of the week and just be available for any questions. But otherwise, everything is online, everything's ready for you to read, watch, or listen, and then you can start doing the assignments whenever you are ready. However, there are deadlines, so make sure you're looking at the assignment due dates. Okay, so let's start by showing you the syllabus and walking through that. I know this is everyone's least favorite part, but it actually is pretty important into how this all functions, this course. Okay, so this is the syllabus. You can find this online. I'll show you in the next video, but I'd like to go through it with you pretty step by step to show you all of the aspects and clarify some of the nitty-gritty. So first of all, I would appreciate if you use my institutional email. That's elevel@govstate.edu. Sometimes Blackboard's messages get a little lost and I don't get notified. So if you can use my email, that will make me more able to reach out, and I generally respond pretty quickly, if not within a day. Okay. I have 2 office hours in person. I hold office hours in my office, E2538, Tuesdays in the afternoon. You will need to wear a mask while you come in, and a reminder that anyone who is on campus, according to state law, must be vaccinated. So please check and make sure that you're following all the requirements for COVID for spring 2021. I am also willing to meet you online if you do not want to come in. So Fridays from 10 to 12, I will be hosting office hours. Well, you will just let me know that you'll be coming. I'll turn on my WebEx, you'll log on, and then ask me any questions that you have. So the purpose of office hours are for you to get help, right? So whenever you're struggling, don't wait and try to figure it out on your own. Come and talk to me first. You'll schedule the office hours. There's a little bit more information on Blackboard how to do that, but you can ask me anything about the course, about the content, about how to apply something, about your grade, about how to write a good resume, about anything in college that you need help with. Feel free to set up office hours and meet with me. It's just really great time for one-on-one help and making sure that you're on course to get the grade that you want. So the course is really a dive into just the basics of sociology. So sociology looks at how humans interact with each other and how those interactions create something extra called society and the social world, rather than just individual people bumping around and happenstance interacting with people. So sociologists often challenge common sense myths that we have about the world. Sociologists have been really important in demonstrating that separate is not equal, developing survey instruments for public polling and census surveys, challenging discrimination in the workplace, and so much more. Sociology is now an important part of medicine because it's helpful to understand the social determinants of why people are healthy or unhealthy. Also very important in urban planning and public policy. So sociologists are all over the place. Our basic idea is that there is something to how humans interact that is more than just, talking to each other. There are structures that come out of that. There are norms and guidelines that might be unstated that guide how we interact with each other in the world around us. And that's what sociology is trying to uncover. There are 6 student outcomes. You'll see these student outcomes repeated quite a bit in the course, and I want you to know what you're going to get out of this class. So first, you'll be able to compare and contrast basic social theories and methods of sociological analysis, right? So you'll understand kind of basic theories that sociologists use to understand the world and how they study it. You'll describe various factors that sociologists have found govern social life, including culture, socialization, social structures, institutions, social control, etc. You'll explain factors of social change, meaning how does social change happen? What is the history of society? How does deviance and social movements actually change society? You'll be able to apply a cross-cultural perspective to understand how and why people act differently and similarly. Then we'll challenge common sense assumptions in what we call the sociological imagination, which is a way of seeing the world and connecting the little pieces that we don't commonly see when we're normally walking around. And then finally, I've developed in this class a way to help you really go through the steps and processes of writing a college paper. So you will, with a group, research and learn on your own how to write a paper and do that together. It will be kind of a low-key way for you to practice the steps of writing a college level paper. So again, this is all online. There is no textbook. I've made this course completely free for people who are already tuition paying members of Governor State. So all of the materials will be on Blackboard. We use an open source textbook that is online. So because of that, it's pretty important that you have regular access to the internet and Blackboard. Whether this means you're using a library, whether this means you have a laptop at home, whatever it is, you'll need consistent access to the internet. If you need a laptop and or internet, like a router, the IT department at Governor State has a loaner system that they will lend you those items for free during the semester. I have that information at the bottom of the syllabus and on Blackboard, so if you're interested in that, feel free to check out those links, or if you can't find them, just set up a time to meet with me or send me an email. It's still COVID. It's still chaos in the world. I know that so many of us, both students, faculty, and staff, have their lives consistently thrown around and can be fairly difficult. So my goal as an instructor is to practice patience and flexibility with you. But in order to do that, I need help knowing what's going on in your life. I can't be flexible if we're not chatting and you're not communicating with me what's happening. So I really ask that all students, if they know that something in their life is going to disrupt their studies, reach out to me and let me know. You don't have to go in depth. You can just say I have a family emergency or something else. If you're looking for help, I am a GSU for You ambassador, which means that I have been trained to help connect you to resources on campus. So feel free, if you're facing eviction or like struggles in your relationship, or you're burnt out, or you need food, just shoot me an email if you don't know where to go, and I'm happy to connect you to resources. My research is with various populations that struggle. I work with a lot of homeless individuals, and I get it. I get that it's not your fault and that I'm happy to help, okay? So please reach out to me early on. You'll see this in the late work policy that I'm pretty flexible as long as you're a good communicator and keep me informed in your life. So the core assessments that we'll be going through that you'll see on Blackboard, first there are discussion posts and responses. There are 2 forums every week, and in the Blackboard video you'll see a little bit more about what this means. In the question forum, you're going to be proposing a question to the class about the material that you read or watched that week. So this could be asking, help to understand something. It could be saying, how does this make sense with what's going on in the world today? It could be, well, how do these two concepts connect? Or any similar question. These questions will be due by Thursday night. After Thursday, students have until Sunday to respond to another student and attempt to answer the question. By then, I should have done the mini check-in, and so I will try to answer as many questions as I can as well. So make sure you watch those check-ins, and that will help you answer each other's questions. The second forum is each week you'll have a small activity to accomplish, and then a discussion prompt to complete. I'll show you those on Blackboard in the next video, but again, the initial post is due on Thursdays, and any responses are due on Sundays. Okay. Some of these are like watch a 10-minute clip and respond. Some of them are to bring a current event and explain it and how it relates to the content. Again, you will see how that works. You must complete both forums each week to be able to get credit for the discussion posts. Okay, so you must finish the question forum and the activity forum. There is a midterm and a final. And it's multiple choice and short answer. It's open book. I highly encourage you study together, but you must be completing the exam on your own. I can notice plagiarism and collaboration on these tests. It is not hard to find. They're fairly easy. I'm mostly checking that you understand the concepts. I'm not trying to trick you in the test questions, and a lot of them are going to be definition questions that you can find straight out of the textbook. So as you're reading the textbook, make sure you know where the definitions are. There are key terms chapters in the textbook that just list all the definitions. Use those on your test. It will help reinforce that definition and help you remember over and over where they are, how to find them, and how to understand them, okay? So there are mini group projects. This serves two functions. A online course can get kind of lonely, so these mini group projects help achieve some kind of person-to-person interaction because you will be working as a group. But it also helps you, this is the project that helps you develop the skills to know how to write a collegiate level paper and do some research, okay? So you will meet every 2 weeks. There is a set worksheet every 2 weeks that you must fill out together, and then you will submit it on Blackboard. They have very extensive instructions. You should be able to understand exactly what to do. If not, just reach out to me. But you will need to be proactive in meeting at least once every 2 weeks. Now, this could be meeting online, working on a Google Doc at the same time, and commenting in the chat. It could be setting up a Zoom or WebEx call. It could be being on the phone. Whatever it is, you just need to work together for at least 1 hour a week, or every 2 weeks. Then the last group of assignments are called the investigating sociology assignments. There are 5 different ones of these that will have a variety of ways to take sociology outside the classroom. It includes watching and analyzing foreign films, breaking social norms in public, making a photo essay of social movements, and more. So depending on the grade that you want in the class, you'll need to choose and complete 1 to 4 of these assignments, but there are 5 to choose from. Okay, so grading. I do grading a different way. It's called specifications grading. This approach changes how we think about the instructor and your role in grading. So instead of me having everyone complete every assignment, giving you a point system, and then we average that at the end and we see how well you did. Specifications grading starts with you deciding how much work you want to put into the class and working towards that grade. And instead of me giving you points on each assignment, and it could be anywhere from 0 to 100, right? I am going to be grading whether or not your assignment, your work demonstrates competency in the objectives of that assignment. Did you show me that you can do the work and at a high level. So generally that means that 80% of it is well done, great work. And if that's the case, then you will have scored a demonstrated competency on the assignment. If it needs some work, if it hasn't yet demonstrated competency, I will give you a revise and resubmit, so an RR score. That means you need to work on it again and resubmit it. That doesn't mean you failed it. That just means you need to do a little bit more, learn a little bit more, practice a little bit harder, and then you will demonstrate competency. So all of the essays, the exams will be able to be redone if they haven't demonstrated competency. Okay, so you can redo assignments as many times as it takes for you to demonstrate competency and show me that you have the skills and you have the knowledge. Okay, so someone working towards a C might have a more difficult standard on a lower level post, whereas someone working for an A will have a more difficult standard on higher level assignments. So this is how the grading system works. You'll see on the left are the various lines of grades. You have A, B plus, C plus, D plus. And on the top, for the columns, you have the different assignments that are required. So we have the discussion posts, we have the exams, we have the mini group projects, and the investigating sociology assignments. When I say that you choose the grade level that you want, you will focus, let's say you want to earn a B in the class, you will look at this line and you will follow the requirements listed in each assignment box for that grade. So someone going for a B plus will need to finish 13 of 15 discussion posts and responses. You'll need to get an 80% average on the midterm and the final. You will need to complete all 6 projects with your group, and you'll need to demonstrate competency on 3 out of 5 of the assignments. Okay, so when you look at the grade you want, just go to this table and make sure that you have completed the assignments that list here. Okay, so it gets progressively harder, and progressively you have to show more work based on a higher level grade. So if you want a D, you'll need to do 14 of 15 discussion posts, and you need a 75% average on the midterm and final. But to get a D, you don't need to do the mini group project or the investigating sociology assignments. You don't need to do them at all. To get a C, you need to do 14 of 15 weeks of discussion posts and responses. You need to get a 75% average on the midterm and final, just like the D+, but you'll need to do the mini group projects and 1 assignment from the investigating sociology series. Okay? So that is how it works. Remember, demonstrating competency does not mean you get a certain grade. It just means that on that assignment, you have proven that you are competent at fulfilling the objectives. And that generally means that you've reached a high bar on that assignment of around 80%. For all of these, once you've turned it in and I've graded it, you can, if you didn't demonstrate competency, you will be able to revise and resubmit. Okay? So the last one is for an A. You'll notice that they have to do 4 assignments for investigating sociology. That shows me that they're able to really use sociology in so many different ways and be able to recognize sociology's understanding of the social world in many contexts. So, late work. I don't mind when you show me that you've mastered these concepts, but you need to be following the schedule simply because there's no way to do it all in the last 2 weeks of class, right? So if you're going to turn something in late, I do not care that it is late as long as you're letting me know beforehand. Now, if there's an emergency, that's a different story. Just email me once you're able to and let me know what happened, and that you'll be, and kind of give me an idea of when you want to chat to like catch up. But let's say you have a super busy week in week 6. That is when one of the group projects are due. That's also when one of the assignments, the investigating sociology assignments are due, but you have like a midterm in the other class, you're also working 40 hours, then just send me an email that week and say, hey, this is a super busy week for me. Next week we'll calm down. Is it all right if my group and I submit the group assignment next week, and I will get you the investigating sociology assignment number 3 done in week 8? That's great. There's no problems with that. It's totally fine. However, if in week 8 you email me and say, I'm so sorry about week 6, I ended up getting super busy and I didn't finish anything, then I can't let you turn in that assignment, okay? So you need to let me know beforehand that you are going to be late on an assignment. So I highly recommend you go through the syllabus, upload all of the assignment due dates into either your phone calendar or your Gmail calendar or whatever calendar you use, and put notes or like alarms that say, give you a week ahead of time to like notify you that this is coming up. And that way you can check that week and see if you're going to have time to finish that assignment. And if you're not, email me, okay? I do try to get grade stuff immediately, but it takes a while. I do have a lot of classes, so please be patient with me. Generally, I get large assignments done within a week. Discussion posts I review every Monday. So just if you need to know about an assignment grade, maybe you need to give your sports team an update or something, just let me know and I'll prioritize it. But otherwise, please give me up to a week to finish. So FAQs. This is a section I'll let you read on your own. It kind of gives you a bunch of different scenarios of how like the class works and how the grading system works. If you have questions about the grading system after you read this, feel free to reach out to me and we'll walk through it together. Okay, let's go to the reading and assignment schedule. This is the crux of the course. This shows everything that's going on. And it will give you the dates for the assignments as well as all, sorry, for some reason I'm getting a lot of messages today. It gives you all the assignment dates as well. If it's a reading or material that's outside of Blackboard, it will give you the link as well. If there is no link, that means you can, so for example, these two, that means you can find it on Blackboard's website. Now, I have set it up so that there is less than 50 pages of reading a week. There should not be that much work in terms of consuming all of the material. The most difficult week is week 3, and we'll go over that in a second. But generally, this is less reading than you would get in a course that meets twice a week, okay? So week 1, we practice these, we learn what is the sociological imagination and how does it work. You get to learn what sociology is, what sociologists do, and we'll also, in my weekly check-in, I will describe how sociology can help you be a really great candidate in the workplace. Week 2, we look at how sociologists look at different levels of social life, how we see micro interactions, the self, identity, one-on-one interactions, meso-level social life, which is how people work in groups and in organizations, and then the macro issues of social life, like structures, laws, governments. You will read a article by Joe McGrath, which looks at the different macro, meso, and micro level causes for why people were engaging in financial fraud for the 2008 financial crisis. You'll see here on Sunday, this is January 30th, the first mini group project is due. So the second that you get grouped, that will be during week 1. Make sure to meet up with get in contact with your group immediately and start asking, when can we meet up? Because that first mini group project is due on the 30th. Okay. Week 3, this is the most in-depth week. It is called Sociological Theories. We will be looking at 5 different fundamental sociologists or social theorists that sociologists build their work on, and you will be reading quite a bit but not overwhelming. Remember, this is as if there was 2 classes and you were doing reading for 2 class sessions, right? So I would highly suggest breaking this up into 3 to 4 readings. You'll read a bit from Durkheim, a bit from Marx, a bit from Max Weber. Max Weber's are actually videos. You don't read Max Weber. You'll read the first chapter of W.E.B. Du Bois' The Souls of Black Folk, and then you'll read a couple sections of Ida B. Wells's Southern Horrors investigation on lynching. Week 4, we look over what sociologists use to research, so the methods of sociology. We'll also talk about how sociology research has often been problematic and how it has not helped a lot of marginalized communities that need good, ethical research. So again, at the end of week 4, you have your mini group project number 2 due, as well as your first investigating sociology assignment. Part 2 of the course is weeks 5 through 7. It's when we investigate what sociologists call cultural sociology. This is looking at how culture is created, maintained, and how it affects us. So the first one we'll look at is socialization, social construction, and culture. You'll read some sections of chapters 3 and 4 and then read chapter 5. In week 6, we learn about power structures and how they affect us personally. So you'll read a little bit about race, the social construction of race and gender and sex. And then you'll read Patricia Hill Collins' a chapter from her book, Black Feminist Thought and the Matrix of Domination. In week 7, you will look at religion and politics. You'll see how the social world is like religion, how it functions religiously, how politics are like a religion. And then you'll read an article by Perry and Whitehead about racial identity, religion, and explaining racial inequality. So it really looks at the intersections of race, religion, and politics. Part 3, this is weeks 8 through 10, we'll look at how sociologists read inequality and poverty. You'll read about stratification and inequality in the US, and then depending on your mini group project, the mini group that you have, you'll be assigned one of these 3 readings. So one on family, how parenting is connected to inequality, how categories of adulthood are related to inequality, and how poverty, parenting, and stability affect LGBT homelessness. Okay, and then the activity for this week, the activity board is you sharing your what you read with the other students. Then there's spring break. Week 9, we look at deviance. Specifically, we're going to be comparing how American society has constructed this idea of the war on crime versus elite deviance, which is largely people in power who get away with a lot more. Week 10, we look at education and how this affects inequality. And then part 4 is when we look at the sociology of organizations and systems. So this is very macro. We look at how the economy is set up and how it affects us. We look at how the nation and immigration system. We also look at, so we're going to be in Thailand. We're going to be looking at indigenous tribes in the US and their history, as well as immigration law for people from Central America into the US. Week 13, we look at how science and medicine is a system by looking at the history of healthcare in the US, as well as the history of scientists detailing what sex and gender is. And then finally, in week 14, we'll be looking at social movements, how social movement happens, what is a powerful social movement, and how do people react to social movements, so what we call counter movements. And again, I'll split the class up into two. Half the class will read about climate change and half the class will read about racial reactionary movements. Week 15, there's no readings. This is a week for you to finish all of your assignments and make sure that everything is caught up to date. Okay, so that's our class. At the end of the syllabus, I have a bunch of links and guidelines for how to get support at Governor State. So if you're struggling with Blackboard, there's a lot of tutorials on how to use Blackboard, as well as their contact information that can help walk you through it. As I mentioned, if you don't have a computer, you can ask for a laptop loaner. If you need academic support, for example, if you're having trouble finding sources for any papers, I have links and contact information for the social science subject librarian, Josh Sopiar's. GSU Star is how you'll get in contact with your academic advisors who can help workshop with you on various things, as well as the Writing Center, which I highly recommend people use in their papers. And in fact, for your group project, you are required to use a paper. But they have a service that you can send in your paper and the requirements for your paper, and in 24 to 48 hours, they will send you written feedback saying, here's what we would suggest that you revise in order to meet the objectives for that assignment. Highly recommend that you use them. Also, I have two important contact informations for just general health and well-being. If you are going through any psychological or emotional distress, I highly recommend you reach out to the counseling center, which is, I have all their contact information here, and it's very confidential. And then anything else you need, GSU for You is there. They can help connect you with resources for food, housing, child support, healthcare, leaving abusive relationship, etc. So please reach out to them if you need help. If you're having trouble contacting GSU for You, feel free to reach out to me as well. I'm going to let you all read through these course and university policies. They are important, and I will be guiding the class on them. So make sure you have read them, because if, for example, you plagiarize and I give you a failing grade, that's because you didn't read this and I'm following the guidelines, okay? So make sure you're reading through these, especially COVID. I will update you if I get any more information from the university, but as of now, all students are required to wear face coverings, and people who are on campus must be vaccinated. Okay, so last thing I wanted to show you is kind of how all of the assignments come together and how this class is structured. So the two basic parts of the class really are the content. So this is all the information and what I want you to be able to apply. And then the course objectives, which we covered at the beginning of the video, which are what you should be able to take away from this course, right? So I have those listed on the right side: compare and contrast sociological theories and methods, describe factors governing social life, social change, cross-cultural understanding of the human experience, using the sociological imagination, and then developing collegiate research skills. Now, when professors give you assignments, that's because they're trying to help you bridge going from the content on the left to the outcomes on the right. So how this works is the midterm and final really is helping you just understand. It's helping me and you know that you have mastered basic concepts in sociology, that you can talk about sociology, you can identify sociological ideas. Then the discussion forums really help you practice getting to these other learning objectives. So you'll be applying a lot of things, you'll be practicing the sociological imagination, and then the group assignments are really helping you develop collegiate skills through using the sociological imagination. You'll be finding sociological sources and developing a sociological argument. However, the discussion forums are mostly practice. They're not necessarily, I won't be grading you on perfection. I will be grading you to see if you're trying and you're working at it. So how do I then measure that you actually have become competent at these objectives? And that's through the investigating sociology assignment. So remember, depending on whether you're going for a C, a B, or an A, you'll have to do between 1 to 4 of these. So really it works as kind of stepping stones. You'll read the content, you'll watch the mini lectures, you'll work on the midterm and the final to make sure you understand the basic stuff, you'll practice applying through the discussion forums, and then you'll work on a research paper in the group assignments, and those will all help you complete the investigating sociology assignments, which then help show that you've developed all of these competencies. Okay? So this is how the class is set up. If you have any questions, please let me know. The next video you'll watch is a walkthrough of how Blackboard works. And I'm excited to get this class started. Thank you.